else in between, such as Pedro Pascal getting overly political when it comes to his view on politics, where he should really stay in his lane as an actor and act responsible. This is really beginning to take a turn for the worse.
So here we are, folks. The year is 2025, and the most cursed Marvel production of the decade. No, scratch that. The most cursed Marvel production since Morbius is somehow careening toward a release date like a burning meteor with a giant Disney logo stamped on it. That's right. Fantastic Four, the so-called savior of the MCU, is less than 2 months away from hitting theaters, and guess what? Instead of excitement, we've got panic. Instead of hype, we've got reshoots, rewrites, infighting.
With both the Walt Disney Company and Marvel Studios still frantically anticipating their release of Fantastic Four on July 25th, we know that in the midst of the ongoing test screenings and the reshoots and everything else in between, such as Pedro Pascal getting overly political when it comes to his view on
PR disasters, and test screenings that flop harder than a Netflix Rachel Zegler show. And at the center of this spiraling disaster, Pedro Pascal, who's now being dubbed the Rachel Zegler of the Marvel Universe, only older, louder, and with a mustache. Buckle up, because this is the meltdown of the year. From the outside, Marvel's Fantastic Four was marketed as the bold reboot we've all been waiting for. A new era, a clean slate, a fresh team, a grounded tone, less cringe, and supposedly, a fix for Marvel's fatigue problem. This film was meant to restore some long-lost glory to the franchise, reel back in jaded fans, and set the stage for Marvel's next big saga. But once you peel back that shiny promo veneer, it's nothing but chaos behind the scenes. And right in the middle of that chaos, Pedro, I'm more activist than actor Pascal.
I, and along with many other people out there, call Pedro Pascal Pedro Zegler, is that he is acting very much like Rachel Zegler when it comes to spewing out his politics where it should not belong when promoting a movie like Fantastic Four, a movie associated with Marvel Studios, mind you, and a movie that should really just focus on the story. We already know that Disney and even Pedro admitted that there's going to be gender politics in.
Let's talk test screenings. According to numerous reports, early audiences didn't just dislike the movie, they walked out. That's right. People left the theater before Galactus even showed up. And no, it wasn't because the CGI was unfinished. It was because they were being lectured twice. Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards, instead of showcasing his brilliant intellect or engaging in cosmic battles, took center stage to deliver not one, but 2 extended monologues on gender equality in a Fantastic Four movie. One scene features him giving a TED Talk-style lecture to an in-universe audience, microphone in hand, and just when audiences thought it was over, bam, another one. Yes, these scenes were Pedro Pascal's idea. Sources say he pushed hard for them during early script discussions in 2024. And here's the kicker. Kevin Feige said yes. That's right. The same Kevin Feige who once gave us Infinity War and Endgame apparently rubber-stamped this tone-deaf detour into political sermonizing. But flash forward to 2025, and it's a whole different landscape. The cultural tide has shifted. Audiences are done being preached at. They just want to enjoy a movie, not sit through lectures during their $20 night out. Enter Bob Iger. The same executive who once greenlit the Marvels has now entered full-on panic mode. After disastrous feedback from screenings, confused audiences, walkouts, bad buzz, Iger stepped in and ordered the women's rights monologues cut, gone, scrubbed, locked away in some vault. And that's when Pedro Pascal reportedly lost his mind. According to multiple insiders, Pascal erupted in anger when he learned the scenes were being removed. He clashed with Feige. He reportedly tried to override the decision. And when that didn't work, he went straight to the top, right at Bob Iger. Now imagine this. You're Pedro Pascal. You're one of Hollywood's most in-demand actors, the face of The Last of Us, The Mandalorian, and now Fantastic Four. But instead of leaning into that prestige, you're picking fights with Disney's CEO. Not the best career move. Sources say Pascal's outbursts got so intense that Disney executives had to intervene. And Iger? He didn't back down. He struck back, hard. First, Pascal's press tour was cut down. No more center stage interviews. No more Meet the Reed features. Disney began minimizing his appearances, making it clear he was no longer the face of the movie. Second, they pulled a fully produced featurette, one that was already filmed and edited. This was going to be a big promo piece all about Pascal's process and his portrayal of Reed Richards. Gone. Just like that. Disney isn't playing around. They now see Pedro as a liability, and frankly, they might be right. Because let's face it, there's already Pedro fatigue out there. Between The Last of Us, The Mandalorian, Star Wars, and now Fantastic Four, audiences are feeling oversaturated. Combine that with Pascal's increasing political outbursts and activist rhetoric, and you've got a recipe for disaster. He's become polarizing. And unlike in previous years, polarizing doesn't sell like it used to. And here's the worst part. Pascal reportedly sees any pushback on his political views as a personal attack. Disagree with him? You're the enemy. He doesn't just disagree, he alienates. And now Marvel is stuck with a lead actor who's torching his own movie before it even hits theaters. Sound familiar? It's Rachel Zegler 2.0. The same energy, the same Twitter meltdowns. Only now it's Reed Richards instead of Snow White. But the problems don't stop there. Remember the Silver Surfer? The cosmic, stoic herald of Galactus? Well, forget Norrin Rad. In this version, the character has been gender swapped. Meet Shellaball, played by Julia Garner. And somehow, she gets more screen time than both Johnny Storm and Ben Grimm combined. The Human Torch and the Thing are side characters now, while the new Silver Surfer gets the spotlight. Who's writing this stuff? And speaking of characters being sidelined, let's talk about Sue Storm. What was once supposed to be a team-based movie is now turning into a Sue Storm solo flick. Reed Richards, the literal leader of the team, is barely featured in the second act. Multiple sources confirm the script rewrites shifted the focus dramatically to Sue, who is portrayed as the backbone of the team. Sound familiar? Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny ring any bells? Disney's idea of modernizing a franchise has become synonymous with sidelining male leads in favor of female characters, regardless of narrative coherence. Now Disney is doing what Disney always does when it panics: massive reshoots. We're talking entire scenes restructured, plotlines rewritten, and test screenings happening almost weekly to gauge how much damage control is needed. According to insiders, they're frantically trying to stitch together a version of this movie that's coherent, entertaining, and, most importantly, less likely to spark outrage from fans. And as if all that wasn't enough, James Gunn's Superman reboot is now set to release just 2 weeks before Fantastic Four. The competition couldn't be more brutal. Despite being a DC film, Gunn's Superman is already outperforming Fantastic Four in both ticket pre-sales and fan buzz. People would rather roll the dice on a new Superman with a cast of virtual unknowns than watch Pedro Pascal monologue about feminism while Galactus waits off-screen like an unpaid intern. In a final desperate push, Disney has begun flooding the market with merch. You can now buy an $80 popcorn bucket shaped like Galactus's helmet. Because nothing screams confidence in your film like banking on overpriced merchandise to save your opening weekend. It's laughable, really, but also kind of tragic. This was supposed to be the movie, the big comeback, Marvel's fourth attempt at making the Fantastic Four work. The 2005 version was campy, 2007 was forgettable, and 2015, a flaming train wreck. And now, in 2025, they've managed to stumble into yet another disaster, this time bigger, louder, and more politically charged than ever before. And Pedro? He's still doubling down, still doing interviews, still posting, still turning every promotional opportunity into a political moment. It's as if he's determined to drag this film down with him, one quote at a time. And now, even Marvel's own PR teams are reportedly working overtime to limit his exposure, scrubbing interviews, avoiding tough questions, and focusing instead on Sue Storm's actress and Julia Garner's Silver Surfer. They're shifting the spotlight away from Reed Richards, away from Pedro. We are literally watching Fantastic Four become the next Snow White fiasco in real time. Another would-be blockbuster turned billion-dollar bomb, not because fans don't care about the characters, but because the studio forgot why people showed up in the first place. People want superhero movies, not lectures. Characters, not caricatures. Fun, not frustration. So the real question is, will Marvel finally learn from this? Or are they too deep in the echo chamber to course correct? Because if they don't wake up, and soon, this might not just be the end of Fantastic Four. It could be the final nail in the coffin for the entire MCU. After the failure of the Marvels, the disinterest around Eternals, and the embarrassment of Quantumania, there's not much left to kill. Marvel went from billion-dollar juggernaut to Netflix tier filler content in record time, all because they stopped telling stories and started chasing hashtags. Pedro Pascal wanted to play Mr. Fantastic. Turns out, he might just be the most fantastically bad decision Marvel's made since giving Brie Larson her own trilogy. Anyway, let me know what you think. Is Pedro Pascal officially the male Rachel Zegler? Is Disney finally learning its lesson? Or are we heading straight into another billion-dollar bomb disguised as a superhero film? Drop a comment, smash that like button. And if you want more breakdowns on this disaster and every other meltdown Hollywood seems to be cooking up, you know what to do. Because this clown show isn't slowing down, it's picking up steam. Every week there's a new PR nightmare, a new actor turned activist, a new franchise on fire. This isn't entertainment anymore. It's self-destruction on a billion-dollar budget. And Hollywood Scoop will be right here, breaking it all down, one train wreck at a time. So stick around.